sweep African Scrabble titles. Thank you for staying with us on the Global News tonight. Here is our bulletin in full. Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe has arrested an oil vessel MV Former and 10 crew members conveying alleged illegally refined petroleum product in Rivers State. Component Commander OPDS, Commodore John Sianbadi, who represented the OPDS Commander Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira, said MV Former was arrested on August 15 at Abuloma Jetty in Port Harcourt by the Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder. According to him, the vessel is being used as a storage facility for illegally refined oil products. The commander said that the 10 suspects intercepted included both the crew on board the vessel and those on the boat. He assured that the OPDS would not relent in the efforts to eradicate crude oil theft and other forms of illegality in the region, and warned those involved to look for legitimate means of livelihood before they are caught. The governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Bayelsa State, Timi Priya Silva, has warned the state governor and rival in the People's Democratic Party to leave Chief of Staff Femi Gbadebamila out of his frustration ahead of the November 11 governorship election. Silva said his attention was drawn to a publication in one of the national dailies allegedly sponsored by Diri, alleging that Silva was behind attempts to blackmail Gbadebamila in a bid to influence some federal board appointments and weaken the chief of staff. The former petroleum minister described the publication, which also alleged that he was trying to influence INEC postings in Bayelsa State to the APC's favor as a job of the scavenging mercenaries. Silva, in a statement signed by his special assistant on media and public affairs, Julius Bokuru, said the publication is false and is as sordid as the depressed minds of its sponsors. Delta State Police Command on Tuesday announced that it arrested over 100 gay suspects carrying out a gay wedding ceremony in a hotel in Delta State. In a post on its official X handle, the state police said it would parade the suspects shortly. Since signing the anti-gay law in 2014, people believed to be homosexuals have been arrested and paraded by security operatives. In December 2020, the Lagos State Police Command arrested 10 individuals suspected of homosexual activities in a brothel located in Okota area of the state. Earlier in 2018, the police in the state paraded 57 men for alleged homosexual activities at Kelly Ann Hotel in Egbadam. In January of 2022, again, 8 alleged homosexuals were arrested in a hotel in Isolo, Lagos, for alleged gay activities. Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Transport, Oman Essin, has called for the strengthening of extant laws for the marine sector to boost the state's economy. While speaking to newsmen at the chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Uyo, he regretted that the state government had not taken advantage of as much as 5% of what comes into the state due to weak or non-robust extant laws in place, adding that such had made the state government lose revenues to oil companies operating in the state, claiming that their operations fall under the federal government exclusive list. He said his ministry has set up a local contents committee to come up with modalities to address the issue. Essin also hinted that his ministry is partnering with the Ministry of Internal Security to tackle cases of insecurity and piracy at the waterways. He further hinted that the state government has entered into a partnership with the Nigerian Navy to develop marine transportation, thereby providing an alternative route to road transportation. The commissioner also said the Nigerian Navy has submitted a design for ferries and cargo boats that would be completed in 6 months, which would be carrying people from Oron to Calabar. Akwa Ibom government has shut down a Chinese firm over illegal mining of titanium ore in Ibano local government area of the state. Ono Eti Mono, the State Commissioner for Environment and Mineral Resources, disclosed this on Tuesday in Uyo when he played host to the correspondent chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Akwa Ibom State Council. This is coming barely 2 weeks after the government closed down another Chinese company for operating in residential area and polluting the environment with toxic gases. Odo said that following a tip-off, his ministry, in collaboration with the Ministry of Internal Security, on Monday, August 28, embarked on an unscheduled inspection tour of a Chinese-owned mining company, mining company in Esuk Ekeme community, Ibano local government area of the state. Meanwhile, the managing director and director of the company, Zheng Zongun and Huang Ying, were not available at the site. The available staff members could not provide any information or documents. Governor Alex Oti has canvassed for the support of the people for the realization of the new Abia state free of corruption and crime. This is even as he has warned traditional rulers in the state against giving awards to suspected criminals. He made the call in Umuahia while launching the Abia State Orientation Agency as part of the event to celebrate the 32nd anniversary of the creation of the state. He described the corruption and unpatriotic behavior as the reasons Abia remained underdeveloped many years after its creation, but expressed the determination of his administration to rid the state of all forms of corrupt tendencies. Oti warned the traditional rulers and priests in the state against conferring chieftaincy titles and people of questionable character, as his administration would not tolerate such. He further warned teachers and against promoting examination malpractice, adding that giving and taking bribes would be tackled head-on. He charged the members of Abia State Orientation Agency to make the state a reference point for good things. Imo State governorship candidate of the Labour Party, Senator Athan Achono, has described the endorsement of Governor Hope Uzodinma by some elders in the Imo West Senatorial Zone as based on selfishness and deceit. Achono stated this to newsmen in Owerri while reacting to the endorsement drama of the elders in the state. You recall that Imo State Elders Council had endorsed Senator Hope Uzodinma's second-term ambition for governor of the state. The elders also adopted a charter of equity for the rotation of key political offices among 3 senatorial zones, which includes the position of the governor, deputy governor, and speaker of House of Assembly. In a communique issued at the end of its quarterly meeting, the council noted that the charter provided the governorship of the state will rotate among the 3 zones, Olu, Okigwe, and Owerri, 8 years each. The Labour Party candidate, through his Director General of his campaign, Chime Nzeribe, said those elders were stingy with the truth and did not want Governor Uzodinma to be aware of the level of damage done. He noted that everything about the elders' communique is repugnant and smacks of selfishness. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter will on Friday, September 1st, unveil a 1.6 trillion naira pipeline of 30 projects at the first Enugu State Investment and Economic Growth Stakeholder Roundtable. The governor is also scheduled to launch the Enugu State Integrated Sector-Based Productivity Growth Strategy. This was made known in a statement released by the Secretary of the State Government, Professor Chidiebere Onya, in Enugu State. According to Professor Onya, this is in line with Governor Mba's determination to grow the Enugu State economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion. He said the Investment and Economic Growth Roundtable, which is a precursor to the launch of the maiden multi-stakeholder and fully transactional diaspora and investment forum scheduled for the second quarter of 2024 would hold in Enugu State and also draw investors from across various industries locally and internationally. Ogun State government has denied the allegation of tampering with funds allocated to the 20 local government areas in the state from the Federation account by the chairman, Ijebu East local government area, Wale Adedayo. It said that rather than tampering with the funds of the third tier of government, the state government often augmented what was allocated to them from the Federation account to enable them to meet their obligations. It will be recalled that Adedayo in a letter credited to him led to zero revenue allocation to local government in the state since 2021. The state government therefore wondered how adding to the funds allocated to the local councils to enable them meet the obligations amounted to hijacking their funds. It said that funds meant for local government in the state are being handled by the constitutionally recognized Joint Account and Allocation Committee. In a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the State Governor, Lekan Adeniran, the government said AAC members ensure that the third tier of government gets the required allocations for optimal performance. It noted that the latest meeting by the JAAC was held last week and was widely reported in the media. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has sworn in the newly appointed head of service Sunday Komolafe, an engineer with a charge on the state civil service to embrace innovation in order to achieve effectiveness and efficiency of the service. The governor, who also inaugurated two commissioners, Professor Bolaji Aluko and Karunwi Oladapo, restated his administration's commitment to the welfare of workers in the state. Performing the inauguration at the conference hall of the governor's office, Oyebanji urged Komolafe, who was inaugurated as the 10th substantive head of service in the state's civil service, to mobilize and inspire the bureaucratic apparatus of the state for the realization of the 6 pillars of the administration and continuous implementation of the civil service transformation strategy. The governor said that his administration would continue to meet up with its responsibility with the expectation that the workers would reciprocate its good gestures with dedication, loyalty, honesty, and hard work, while affirming that the appointment of Komolafe as the head of service was based on merit and unblemished record of service. The governor said his administration would continue to prioritize workers' welfare and would reward excellence and dedication to duty. The governor also called on the new head of service to have a firm grip of the service by ensuring that there is no room for idleness and professional misconduct, adding that everyone must work in consonance with the spirit and focus of He further advised them not to use the privileges of government to oppress the people or engage in accumulative tendencies. In his response, the new head of service, Engineer Sunday Komolafe, expressed his appreciation to God and Governor Yebanji for the confidence he reposed in him and for his passion towards the development of the public service through his reform and transformation agenda. Board of Trustees of the New Nigeria People's Party has suspended its candidate in the February 25th presidential election, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, for alleged anti-party activities. The BOT also suspended the National Working Committee members of the party. It also appointed new national officers headed by Dr. Agbo Major as acting national chairman and Mr. Ogini Olaposi as the acting national secretary. The suspension is for 6 months. While addressing newsmen at the end of the meeting in Lagos on Tuesday, Secretary of the BOT, Babayo Muhammad Abdullahi, accused Kwankwaso of hobnobbing with President Bola Tinubu, the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, without the board's authorization. Abdullahi announced that Kwankwaso had been stripped of the NNPP national leader status by the board. The secretary of the BOT said the purported suspension of the NNPP founder was a flagrant gross violation of the party's constitution. He pointed out that Aniebonam has resigned as BOT chairman and a new BOT chairman, Dr. Chief Dr. Chief Tokwe Aluko was elected, with Abdullahi as the new BOT secretary, while High Chief Tony Obioha was elected as BOT spokesperson. Abdullahi said the pre-election memorandum of signed with Kwasia Movement, the National Movement of National Association of Government-approved freight forwarders, had been rendered void by the actions of the National Working Committee. Independent National Electoral Commission says that Kogi State's November 11 governorship election results will be transmitted electronically directly from polling units to its server. The Resident Electoral Commissioner in Kogi State, Professor Gabriel Longpet, disclosed this at a two-day media roundtable engagement on the Kogi election organized by the Independent Press Center. Professor Longpet said the electronic transmission of the results will help to eliminate rigging, electoral fraud, and other irregularities, and to ensure the enthronement of credibility and transparency in the electoral process. Longpet also assured that the issues of insecurity that characterized the 2019 governorship election have been critically analyzed and dealt with, urging Kogi electorates to come out and vote, as the election will be volatile-free. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner reiterated that the 2023 Kogi gubernatorial poll will be by the poll and not by the gun, assuring that the Commission will do everything to ensure that votes count and that those who will emerge through popular votes. Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia has inaugurated 17 commissioners and 23 special advisors, charging them to uphold the interests of the state as their appointment is not political. He said this on Tuesday during the inauguration ceremony of the commissioners at the new banquet hall of the Government House in Makadi. Governor Alia urged his cabinet to be kind and generous to Benue people and prove themselves in their given assignments. He advised the commissioners to sustain efforts by the government to improve the living standards of the people and ensure the tempo of economic development he has started in the state. The commissioners sworn in include Joyce Luga, Cooperatives Omale, Power and Transport, Dr. Yanmar M. Otesa, Health, Reverend Dr. Frederick Ikian, Education and Knowledge, Economy, Ugu Odo, Environment and Water Resources, Baba Amande, Matthew Abo, and Tiza Imojime, Works and Housing, amongst others. In a speech on behalf of the commissioners and special advisor, Reverend Frederick Kian said they will be dedicated to their duty and be effective in their assignments. National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency has warned Nigerian students, particularly students of the University of Ilorin, against drugs, saying no drug can enhance their academic performance. Mohammed Ibrahim, the NDLA commander Kwara Command, gave the advice while speaking with newsmen on Tuesday at Uni Ilori. He asserted that drugs do not promote the performance of students in any examination. Ibrahim stressed that the small perceived feelings from the drugs would later hurt such students, adding that they must resist all forms of pressure that can lead them to drug abuse. He explained that part of what the command is doing differently is to enhance the working ability of the patrol teams to control the state and also put more officers on the road to intercept substances coming into the state. According to him, the target of the unit is the general public, youth and adults, both male and female. This, he said, was because no human being is immune to drug abuse, as drug addiction cuts across all aspects of life. Ibrahim further explained that all categories of drugs can be abused. The NDLA boss explained that some substances are not banned but are controlled because despite being for medication, they are sometimes abused. Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State has expressed concern over the recent collapse of a major bridge in the Shandam local government area of the state. In a statement issued by his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Giang Bere, on Tuesday in Jos, Mutfwang described the incident as unfortunate. The bridge, which collapsed on Sunday after heavy rainfall, was significant in linking many communities in the area in terms of economic activities. He said that some communities in the area would experience temporary challenges since the collapsed bridge connected them to access their farmlands. He, however, expressed relief that the incident did not result in any loss of life and urged the affected communities to apply the diversion routes provided for temporary use. He also spoke on the urgent need for adopting best practices in executing all government contracts to ensure valued added services to Nigerians, particularly in the rural communities. He assured the Shandam people of the government's commitment towards reconstructing the bridge is soon to enable them to go about their personal and economic activities. Kano State High Court has issued a restraining order stopping anti-corruption agencies from conducting investigations into the affairs of the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission and its chairman, Muhuyi Rimingado. The anti-graft agencies prevented from probing Rimingado include the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, and the Code of Conduct Bureau. The plaintiffs in this case include the Attorney General of the Kano State, the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. On the other side, the respondents named in the order are the EFCC, CCB, and the ICPC. Justice Farouk Lawan Adamu, who issued the order, said that the respondents are prohibited from interfering in the affairs of any staff or individuals under the plaintiff's services. The restraining order will remain in effect pending the hearing and determination of the originating motion. The court also fixed September 25, 2023 for the hearing of the originating motion. The legal action followed a sequence of events involving high-profile figures in the state, former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and previously secured a court order to halt the PCAC's investigation into the allegations of dollar bribery against him. Governor Diko Umaru Rada has given his approval for the appointment of Malam Nuru Teller as the new Accountant General of Katsina State, succeeding Alhaji Malik Anas, who is set to retire. The appointment will become effective on August 31, 2023. This development was disclosed in a statement on Monday by Governor Rada's spokesperson Ibrahim Kaula Mohammed. Nura Teller, a Katsina indigene from Jikamshi, Musawa local government area, previously served as a technical assistant and treasury matters to Governor Rada. In the same vein, Rada has assigned the name role of special advisor on banking and finance to the state's outgoing Accountant General Alhaji Malik Anas, who has served the state devotedly for 35 years. The People's Democratic Party in Zamfara State has condemned the alleged plan of the All Progressive Congress in the state to influence the yet-to-be-announced judgment of the Election Petition Tribunal in its favor. While addressing newsmen in Gusau, the acting state chairman of the PDP, Mukhtar Mohammed Luga, alleged that the All Progressive Congress APC was planning to make the state ungovernable for the ruling party. The PDP chairman alleged that in a widely circulated audio recording, a staunch APC supporter Malam Anas Anka, the managing director of Thunder Blowers and an online TV station, openly boasted how he was contacted by the former governor Abdulaziz Yari. Luga claimed that the former governor was reported to have planned to bribe and influence members of the State House of Assembly to commence the impeachment proceedings against Governor Dauda Lawal. The party also called on former Governor Abdulaziz Yari to, as a matter of urgency, clear his name from the allegations of bribery, financial inducement and corruption leveled against him by Anas Anka. Federal Safety Corps has arrested a vehicle owner using both a foreign and Nigerian number plate on the same vehicle. The public education officer BC Kazim said in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja that the arrest was in line with the ongoing nationwide clampdown on unstable, unregistered and improperly registered vehicles. The FRSC Court Marshal Dauda Abuse recently inaugurated the special operation directing that such drivers and vehicles should be apprehended. Kazim said that the operation followed a public outcry about the security risk posed by noticeable violation of road traffic and regulations by some motorists, including those using foreign and Nigerian number plates on the same vehicle. He said the FRSC tactical teams have been strategically deployed to impound unstable, unregistered and improperly registered vehicles and prosecute the owners. Federal government has announced 825.889 billion naira as compensation for indigents of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to pave the way for the construction of 4.2-kilometer second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike made the announcement on Tuesday after a negotiation meeting with the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, officials of both ministries and representatives of their agencies, as well as stakeholders from Jiwa, the affected community in Abuja. The 825.8 billion naira award, according to the minister, is to incentivize the residents to vacate the community and seek their cooperation towards the completion of the 4.2-kilometer second Abuja runway project originally awarded in 2002. Additionally, Wike declared that the FCT will construct a 5-kilometer bridge in the Tsunga Madaki community and provide modern health care facility expected to serve as a temporary resettlement site for the indigents. Furthermore, the FCT minister charged the contractors to resume work, promising that the approved fund will be released from tomorrow, Wednesday. Jiwa community had earlier opened up negotiations with the federal government demanding 2.5 million naira per hectare as compensation. Officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration on Tuesday demolished an illegal market called Kasuan Dare, suspected of serving as a hideout for hoodlums and drug dealers in Asokoro, Abuja. The market was located at Hassan Musa Katsina Street, near Madum II in Asokoro Extension, Abuja. While speaking after the demolition, the director of the Department of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, said that the illegal market was becoming a threat to the residents of the area and passerby. Galadima added that the area was turned into a haven for criminal activities despite relentless effort by the FCT administration to incentivize the area. He added that the miscreants operating in the area were affecting the aesthetics quality of the entire environment, that the FCT would not allow it to continue. The Secretary of the FCTA Command and Control, Mr. Peter Olumuji, said that efforts would be put in place to ensure the safety of residents in the area. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after the break. viewers, and welcome back to the Global News. So the All Progressive Congress has named the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, as a member of the party's campaign council for the Bayelsa governorship poll. Nigeria's ruling party named the former governor of Rivers State as a member of the council when it set up campaign councils for Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo governorship polls built for later in the year. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, in consultation with National Working Committee, has approved the composition of the Bayelsa State National Gubernatorial Campaign Council with the primary purpose of leading the gubernatorial campaign in Bayelsa State and ensuring the triumph of the party at the November 11, 2023 governorship election. Wike, who has not resigned as a member of the main opposition People's Democratic Party following a fallout with the party in the lead-up to the February presidential election, was recently sworn in as a minister by the President Bola Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of a new board and management team of the Niger Delta Development Commission, inclusive of the following board and management team members. A statement by Ajurin Gelale, special advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, named Mr. Chiedu Ebie as chairman, Delta, Dr. Samuel Obuku, managing director, CEO, Bayelsa State, Mr. Baba Iyaye, executive director, finance and admin, Rivers State, Mr. executive director, project, Akwa Ibom and Ifedayo Abegunde, executive director, corporate services, Ondo State. Others are Senator Demaro Denyan Bofa, State Representative Bayelsa, Mr. Abasi Ndikan Nkono, State Representative Akwa Ibom State, Right Honorable Monday Ibuya, State Representative Delta State, Tony Okocha, State Representative Rivers State, Honorable Patrick Asioweren, State Representative Edo State, and Mr. Kirian Uchebu, State Representative Imo State. The statement also added that Victor Kolade Akinjo, State Representative Ondo State, Dimba Eruba, State Representative Abia State, Mr. Asu Oku Okang, State Representative Cross River State, Honorable Nick Wende, Zonal Representative North Central, Honorable Namdaz Abdul Razak, Zonal Representative Northeast, and Senator Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Gabri, Zonal Representative Northwest. The President expects that the new board and management team will ensure a new era of successful administration in the NDDC, in line with his renewed hope agenda, adding that all of the above listed appointments take immediate effect. Chairman of Hair Holding Tony Elumelu on Tuesday paid a visit to President Bola Tinubu at Assault Villa, Abuja. It is the first time the United Bank of Africa owner will be visiting the president since he was sworn in May. While speaking on the purpose of his visit, Elumelu said his discussion with Tinubu was private. However, he declared that as a leader in the private sector, they're encouraged by the policies of the government. He further revealed that his visit was all about Nigerian people, youths, all about making sure women are involved and empowered, making sure youths get jobs. And he believes President Tinubu has this at the back of his mind. Controversies surrounding the appointment of the National Youth Service Corps member as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have seen several interpretations, even by senior advocates of Nigeria, where the minister herself said there was no law banning her from taking ministerial responsibility as a 7-corps member. The Federal High Court ruled that a youth corps member was not qualified to contest election in Nigeria. While speaking on Atlantic Television Network Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Barrister Asim Adams, cited some legal precautions necessary before any ministerial appointment.
Now, when you look at it, said, for you to be qualified, to be nominated to be a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that you must possess the qualifications of somebody that wants to go to the House of Reps in an election. You understand the point? Now, that particular section 147 sub 5 is indirectly or directly referring to section 65, section 66 of the 1999 Constitution that lay out pre-qualification that a man or a woman that wants to aspire to the House of Representatives in Nigeria lawmaking body must fulfill. And some of these conditions are: you must be a Nigerian by birth, you must belong to a political party, you must also be sponsored by that political party, and you must be of age of 30 years, and above etc., as the case may be. Then the final one is that you must possess the minimum school requirement of school certificate or its equivalent, as the case may be. These are the pre-conditions listed out under Section 65 for those who want to, aspire to House of Reps. So indirectly and conversely put is that if you want to be a minister of the Federal Republic, then you must possess all these particular, preconditions and requirements for you to be a minister.
The lawyer also explained the other legal conditions that prohibit a serving NYC member from any political appointment whatsoever.
The air. Why the bylaw of the NYSC as a law, has to be read in a community reading with the constitutional provision. They have to be put together. You have to read the two together, then you now make sense of it. Now, what that bylaw is saying is that if you are serving, you have to sacrifice that 1 year. You have to focus. There's no distraction. Do you know that you cannot even travel if you are in the camp, in NYC camp or service, without permission from the commander or whatever the case may be? You cannot even go abroad except to take permission, from the authority that gives that particular permission. There are still things you cannot do. You cannot go and do jobs outside that particular service that you are doing. As when you are posted to a bank, you will work in that particular bank. You are not expected to go and begin to work with another construction company, just to make ends meet. You are supposed to focus for that 12 months or thereabout that you are supposed to be there. And also, anything that has to do with political offices, you are not supposed to go close until you finish that particular job and get your discharge certificate. That is on the side, the air.
The federal government has announced the release of massive volumes of water from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon since August 14, 2023, which triggered fear of widespread flooding in 11 states in Nigeria, has been stopped by managers of the dam. This was announced at the press briefing in Abuja that focused on the August 2023 water release from Lagdo Dam, as the government revealed that the spilling of water from the facility was stopped by 11 a.m. on Monday, August 28, 2023. The Director General, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, as agency of the federal government, Clement Nze, who disclosed this to journalists, explained that in Nigeria, the month of June every year served as the beginning of a new hydrological year in the River Niger Basin. He said the River Niger Basin covered 9 countries in West and Central Africa, including Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mali, Niger, and Nigeria, under the umbrella body of the Niger Basin Authority based in Niamey, Niger Republic. Nigeria is downstream of all the countries in this basin, according to Nze. He said the release of water from the dam commenced at the rate of 200 cubic meters per second, which was about 18 million cubic meters of water per day. He also stated that there had been steadiness in the flow of the River Benue system, as the water level at our monitoring station in Makurdi, Benue State is 9.01 meter as at August, as against a 9.68 meter that was recorded in the same date in 2022. Here is the business news for tonight. Leadership of the Nigerian Society of Engineers have urged the state governors spread across the country to put in place mechanisms that will enable them to generate power for the people. The society, which noted that the days of relying solely on the national grid for power generation are gradually coming to an end, challenged the governors to, as a matter of urgency, commence the process of supplying power to their residents. Vice President of NSE, Danladi Adamu, said this while presenting a paper at the 2023 Engineering Week of the Jalingo branch on Tuesday. He said following the enactment of the Electricity Act, governors can now provide power to residents without depending on the national grid. He urged them to partner with companies or investors experienced in power generation to achieve the target. In a bid to combat the rising public health concerns associated with excessive sugar consumption, the Federal Ministry of Health has expressed commitment to increase the tax on sugar sweetened beverages from the current rate of 10% to 20%. This significant step aims to promote healthy beverage choices, reduce the intake of processed sugars, soft drinks, and contribute to a healthier future for citizens and generations to come. Director Head of Public Health Department, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Chukwuma Anyike, disclosed this at the Pro-Health Tax Policy campaign on SSB held at the Federal Ministries of Finance and Health, respectively, on Tuesday in Abuja. On his part, a representative of the National Action and Sugar Production Coalition, Edozie Chukwuma, said the campaign aims to sensitize the general public, policymakers, and concerned government and authorities on the dangers associated with the consumption of SSB. First Bank of Nigeria has confirmed the illegal disappearance of 68 million naira belonging to an Italy-based female customer. In a statement released via its official accounts, the bank noted that the investigation has commenced. The victim, Glory, had claimed that she saved 68 million naira in her account, but when she returned to Nigeria in May 2003, she discovered only 3,000 naira in it. First Bank of Nigeria has finally reacted to the trending illegal disappearance of 68 million naira from the customer's account. In a statement published via their official Instagram account, First Bank admitted that 68 million naira belonging to Italy-based customer Glory Omakaro vanished from her account. The heartbroken victim, Glory Omakaro, had saved money in her First Bank account until it reached 68 million naira and hoped to use it when she finally moved back to Nigeria. A committee of the House of Representatives probing alleged non-remittance and utilization of National Housing Fund from 2011 till date has summoned the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madane. The chairman of the committee, Dachang Bagos, made this known in Abuja on Tuesday. Bagos said the decision to summon the Accountant General was to get full information on deductions of National Housing Fund of Nigerian workers and remittance of St. Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria is also expected to appear before the committee on Thursday. One of the aims of the National Housing Fund is the mobilization of funds for the provision of affordable residential houses for Nigerians. World Bank has pledged to increase its support to development programs in Nigeria. World Bank Country Director Mr. Shubham Chaudhry disclosed this when he led a World Bank team on a courtesy visit to the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, on Tuesday in Abuja. Chaudhry said his focus is to work with government at federal and state levels in transforming the country, catalyzing private investment and job creation, and also investing in children and creating opportunities for Nigeria's youth and women. While responding, the minister thanked the World Bank for all the support it has been providing to the ministry within the wider government cycle. The minister explained that the engagement between the ministry and the WB are mainly in terms of blended development assistance projects with components of loans and grants from donors, especially the European Union. It will be recalled that the president of World Bank visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently, and there was a request for more support, which is being looked at. And here's the international tidbit for tonight. Tokyo has demanded that China ensure the safety of Japanese citizens as it reported a brick being thrown at its embassy in Beijing in an escalating row over the release of Fukushima water. Last week, China banned all seafood imports from its neighbor as Japan began releasing treated wastewater from the crippled plant in an operation the UN nuclear watchdog has declared safe. Since then, Japan has urged its tens of thousands of citizens in China to keep a low profile and has increased its security around schools and diplomatic missions. Japan's Foreign Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa on Tuesday confirmed the media reports that the brick was thrown at its mission and echoed calls from Prime Minister Fumio Kishida for China to calm the situation. He added that China should provide accurate information about the Fukushima water release rather than unnecessarily raising people's concerns by providing information without any scientific basis. United Nations says at least 183 people have been killed since July in clashes in Ethiopia's Amhara region as it appealed for the killings, violence and rights abuses to end. Tension in the northern region ratcheted up this year after the end of a devastating war in the neighboring region of Tigray and also drew in fighters from Amhara. In April, the federal government announced it was dismantling regional forces across the country. The move triggered protests by Amhara nationalists who said it would weaken their region. Clashes erupted in early July between the National Army and local fighters known as Fano, prompting the authorities in Addis Ababa on August 4 to declare a 6-month state of emergency. Hotado said the status gives the authorities broad power to arrest a suspect without a court order, impose curfews and ban public gatherings. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin has been buried in a private funeral in St. Petersburg. According to his press service, the ceremony in his home city was held in a closed format, and all those wishing to say goodbye can visit the city's Borokoshvokio cemetery. 62-year-old Prigozhin was confirmed dead by Russian authorities after genetic analysis of 10 bodies found in a crashed plane on 23rd August near Moscow. The Kremlin has denied the speculation it was to blame for the crash, but a number of Russian watchers, both in the country and abroad, have described Prigozhin as a dead man walking since an aborted armed mutiny he led back in June. All 10 people on board, including Prigozhin's right-hand man, Dmitry Utskin, died in the crash in the Tiva region northwest of Moscow. The Wagner press service gave the information about Prigozhin's funeral in a short statement on Telegram on Tuesday. And here is the entertainment news for tonight. Substyled Wahala musician Portable is set to embark on a musical tour in the United States of America, boldly declaring himself as the newborn Fela Anikulaty. The street hop act announced his upcoming international tour on his Instagram, releasing the full schedule. According to the shared flyer, Portable plans to cover 10 cities in the U.S. from September 2003 to March 2024. The intense U.S. tour by Portable is set to begin in the metropolis of New York, from where he would move on to spread his Zazu energy throughout the state. The tour boasts other interesting stop-in cities, including Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, Dallas, among others. Nigerian singer Divine Kubo, popularly known as Rema, has achieved another milestone as his song Calm Down with Selena Gomez became the first song in history to spend 1 year on top of the Billboard US Afrobeat Songs chart. American data collection company Chat Data disclosed this. The song has spent 52 weeks as #1 on the Billboard US Afrobeat Songs chart. It peaked #3 on the main chart, Billboard Hot 100, and reached #1 on the Canadian Top Songs chart. Recorder Rema's Calm Down entered into the Guinness World Record as the first #1 hit on the official MENA chart, the world's first regional streaming chart. Calm Down debuted at #1 when the MENA chart was launched by the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry on November 29, 2022. Nigerian rapper Chibuzo Nelson Azubike, famously known as Fino, has announced that he is now a father. The artist took the internet by surprise with the announcement via his Instagram, where he posted an adorable picture of himself cradling the newborn baby to his chest and letting everyone know why he's been away all this while. In his caption, Fino noted that his fatherhood journey has been wholesome so far. He also noted that he had been working on a new music during his time off social media, as well as taking care of the little tot. The Nigerian artist also announced that he would be releasing new music on Friday. And here is sports news for tonight. Nigeria's duo David Ojeyi and Prestige Achibong emerged champions of the under-19 and under-15 categories of the Winfred Awosika Africa Youth Scrabble Championship, which featured players from Kenya, Liberia, Ghana, Uganda, and host Nigeria. David clinched the under-19 championship after 4 days of 24 rounds of intensive mind games, in which he won 19 and lost 5 games with a cumulative score spread of plus 2022 at Christland School in Lekki, Lagos. Another Nigerian, Joy Ola, came second with 28 wins and a cumulative score of plus 1,097 ahead of compatriots Latif Musa, who recorded 17 victories and cumulative points of 1,012. The top honor for the under-15 category went to another Nigerian, Prestige Achibong, who swept 16 games with a cumulative score spread of plus 2,614. Kudos Aliyu came second with 13 wins and a cumulative score spread of plus 1,358, while Clinton Sinton Imode came third in the competition that featured 88 players from 5 countries. The winners shared the $9,000 prize in money and other sports gifts like laptops, tablets, and smartphones. Manchester United striker Rasmus Højlund could make his debut for the club against Arsenal, according to Denmark manager Kasper Højlund. Højlund has been named in the Denmark squad for the September international, suggesting he is fit to play some parts in Man United's match against Arsenal this Sunday. Man United signed the 20-year-old from Atlanta this summer in a deal worth £72 million. Højlund has been stuck on the sidelines with a back injury, with Man United manager Erik ten Hag recently saying that he was nearing a return to the pitch. However, speaking on Tuesday, Højlund said that Højlund will be part of Man United's squad to face Arsenal this weekend. Veteran tennis star Novak Djokovic has booked his place in the second round of the US Open after defeating Alexander Muller in the first round. Djokovic, who won the French and Australian Open titles earlier this year, boldly took the game upon himself after he succumbed to defeat to Carlos Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final. The Serb opened his US Open account in style after missing last year's edition after not being vaccinated against COVID-19. The 36-year-old, though started very late, saw off his French opponent 6-0, 6-2, 6-3 in just 96 minutes and will claim the world #1 spot ahead of Alcaraz when the tennis rankings are next updated after the tournament. Next up is Djokovic facing unseeded Bernabe Zapata Miralles in round 2 following the Spaniard 6-4, 6-4, 6-3 win over Ethan Quinn. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. JTF arrests vessel 10 crew members for oil thefts. APC names Wike in campaign council ahead of polls. President Tinubu appoints new NDDC board, others. Federal government to increase tax on beverages from 10% to 20%. Prigozhin buried in private funeral. Portable set for U.S. music tour. Nigeria sweep African Scrabble titles. I'm Vivian Douglas. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media pages. On X, we're Atlantic TV Net. On Facebook and YouTube, we're Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Atlantic TV Network 1. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Good night.